Let me let you in on a secret. That gnawing feeling you have deep inside, that nagging, persistent voice in the back of your head that tells you something is deeply wrong, that sense that no matter how much you do, no matter how much you give, you always end up falling behind. That's not a personal failure. It's a feature of the program. It's by design. You are told to be a good person. Be selfless, be agreeable, don't make waves. It's the foundational myth of our civilization. But have you ever truly stopped to ask who wrote these rules? Who benefits from your infinite patience, your endless flexibility, your fear of conflict? I can tell you who it's not. You. How many times have you stayed silent in a meeting you knew you were right about, just to keep the peace, only to feel that hot flush of shame creep up your neck moments later? How many times have you dropped everything to help a colleague solve their crisis? A colleague who would never, ever do the same for you? How many times did a yes leave your mouth when every fiber of your being was screaming no, and you spent the rest of the day or week cursing your own weakness? Does that sound familiar? Does it feel like I'm reading a page from your own private diary? Now, brace yourself. Because what I'm about to tell you might shake the very foundations of your reality. What if that thing you call goodness, that virtue you've been chasing your whole life, isn't a virtue at all? What if it's a mental virus, a piece of faulty software installed in your mind to make you slow, to make you exploitable, and ultimately to ensure you fail? In this video, we are going to shatter the rose-tinted glasses society forced you to wear. We will not be gentle. We will be dissecting the anatomy of your own self-sabotage. And we're going to do it through the ruthless but honest lens of the one man who was never afraid to look at the world for what it is, not what we wish it to be. Niccolò Machiavelli. By the end of this video, you will understand not just that trying to be a good person is holding you back, but how it is systematically destroying you from the inside out. And more importantly, you'll learn how to overwrite that code and finally turn the game in your favor. If you're ready, the awakening begins now. The system, your teachers, your parents, the media, they sold you a fairy tale. They said, if you have a good heart, you'll win in the end. They said, honesty is the best policy. They said, the meek shall inherit the earth. What a beautiful, catastrophic lie. These rules were not designed to make you a better person. They were designed to make you a more controllable person. Be agreeable, because agreeable people don't ask challenging questions. Be selfless, because selfless people don't demand their fair share of the resources. Avoid conflict, because conflict disrupts the comfortable status quo that benefits those already in power. This programming has its roots in our evolutionary past. In small tribes, being agreeable was a survival mechanism. It ensured group cohesion. But in the massive, impersonal, hyper-competitive jungle of modern society, that same instinct has become a catastrophic liability. And you played your part so perfectly, you don't even realize you're acting anymore. The expectations of others became your identity. The problems of others became your responsibility. The happiness of others became your mission. And what about you? What about your ambitions, your boundaries, your own well-being? Where are they in this equation? They're nowhere. They have been sacrificed on the altar of being nice. You've become an extra in everyone else's movie and a spectator in your own life. You waited for applause. You waited for a thank you, a word of appreciation, a pat on the back. But what did you get in return? More responsibility, more burdens, more quiet disappointment. You've become the dependable one, a polite term for the designated victim. Because you need to understand this now, this world is not a kindness contest. This world is a power arena. And in this arena, being good is often synonymous with being weak. While you see yourself as a virtuous person, do you know what the predators in the arena see? They see a bright, flashing sign above your head that says, "Easy prey." History is littered with well-intentioned people who are devoured. History remembers the effective, not the nice. It's time you learned the difference. Niccolò Machiavelli is a name that has become synonymous with evil, a byword for devious and manipulative politics. His most famous work, The Prince, was so scandalous, so brutally honest about the nature of power, that it was banned by the church and condemned for centuries. But why was it so dangerous? It was dangerous because Machiavelli committed the ultimate sin. He told the truth. He tore down the curtain of the morality theater where everyone else was playing their part. He refused to describe the world as it should be, and instead had the audacity to describe it exactly as it is. He was not a moralist. He was a realist. His theories weren't born in an ivory tower. They were forged in the fires of brutal, real-world experience. He was a high-level diplomat in the Florentine Republic until he was wrongly accused of conspiracy, imprisoned, and brutally tortured. It was in the aftermath of this personal ruin, in exile, that he wrote The Prince. Not as an academic exercise, but as a desperate, brilliant analysis of how power truly works, an attempt to get back into the game. His core message, born from suffering, was this: the world is not a court of morality, it is an arena of power, and if you want to survive and thrive in this arena, you must operate based on how people actually are, not on how you wish they would be. So, what is human nature? For Machiavelli, it's simple. Humans are ungrateful, fickle, liars, and deceivers. Creatures who flee from danger and are consumed by their greed for gain. Does that sound cynical to you? Perhaps. But Machiavelli would call it realism. And he would argue that if you build your life strategy on anything other than this realism, you're destined to be crushed. This is where the entire ideal of being a good person collapses. The philosophy of the good person is built on the sandy foundation of assuming that others are well-intentioned and will reciprocate your fairness. Machiavelli would say that's like walking through a jungle full of wolves, hoping they're all vegetarians. It's a delusional strategy. The bitter truth of Machiavelli is this: in the world of power, there is no good or evil. There is only effective and ineffective. And trying to be good all the time is, unfortunately, a painfully ineffective strategy. Now, let's dissect the 3 ways this strategy is systematically destroying you. First, trying to be good makes you prey. It makes you predictable. This is most visible in the professional world. Social predators in the corporate jungle, the manipulators, the narcissists, the sharks, are always scanning the environment for one thing: the path of least resistance. They look for the easiest target, the person who will not fight back. And you, the good person, are painfully, tragically predictable. Your boss knows you won't say no to that last-minute project on a Friday afternoon because you hate disappointing authority. Your colleagues know you won't cause a scene when they borrow your idea in a meeting because you fear conflict. You become the office yes man or yes woman, and while you think this makes you agreeable, it actually lowers your value. Superiors don't ultimately respect those who lack the critical thinking to push back. They see them as useful but disposable tools. You become the vampiric colleague's favorite target, the one they can always drain for energy, ideas, and time, knowing you'll never bite back. How many more times will you watch your brilliant idea, the one you hesitated to voice, be confidently presented by someone else minutes later? How many more times will you accept blame for a team failure just to shield others who quickly and silently let you take the fall? Machiavelli says a leader must be both a lion to frighten the wolves and a fox to recognize the traps. The lion has strength, the fox has cunning. The good person in the office is neither lion nor fox. They are a sheep waiting patiently for the slaughter. If you're tired of being devoured in your career, you must first stop being prey, and to do that, you must destroy your own predictability at work. Second, trying to be good makes you blind. This is most dangerous in your social and personal life. It places a thick, distorting veil over your eyes. You assume that others, especially those you call friends, are operating with the same moral code as you. You believe in fairness, in reciprocity, in their inherent goodness. This is the fatal flaw in your operating system. Think about that one friend, the one who only calls when they have a crisis, the one who tells you a heartbreaking story, making your goodness instinct kick in. Naive empathy, which is what the good person runs on, makes you feel their pain and give them the money you can't really afford to lose, or the time you don't really have. Strategic empathy, however, is what the effective person uses. It makes you step back and see the pattern. You understand their real motivation, not to solve their problem, but to make it your problem. You understand their fear and desperation. But you use that understanding not to become a victim of it, but to protect yourself. The effective person sees the chessboard, while the good person only sees a friend in need, ignoring the fact that they've been put in checkmate by the same move a dozen times before. This perspective doesn't make you a bad friend. It stops you from being a foolish one. It armors you against the emotional vampires and manipulators who prey on the kindness of others. The good person sees the world through rose-tinted glasses and is constantly betrayed and disappointed. Machiavelli tells you to shatter those glasses. Yes, the world might look darker, but at least now you can see who is truly a friend and who is just a predator in friendly clothing. Seeing this truth isn't pessimism, it's freedom. Third, trying to be good leaves you utterly powerless. This is often most painfully true within our own families. The mythology of the good person forbids the use of the fundamental tools of power, because in a family, you're taught that love should be unconditional and conflict should be avoided at all costs. What are these tools you've been taught to fear? The power to set firm, unwavering boundaries. The power to say a clean, guilt-free no to a demanding relative. The power to engage in a necessary, difficult conversation to defend your own needs. Consider the dynamic at a large family gathering. The good person is the one who automatically starts clearing the table while everyone else is relaxing. The one who listens to every complaint from every aunt and uncle without ever talking about their own struggles. They are loved for being so helpful and uncomplicated. But when a major family decision is made, about an inheritance, about caring for an elderly parent, is the good person's opinion given the most weight? Or is it the difficult sibling, the one who has firm boundaries and isn't afraid to state their demands, who ultimately dictates the terms? The good person's opinion is noted. The difficult person's opinion is negotiated. One is a courtesy, the other is power. Remember Machiavelli's famous question, is it better to be loved than feared? Let's translate feared for the family dynamic. It doesn't mean terror, it means being so respected, your boundaries so clear that your family knows there are consequences for disrespecting you. They are afraid of losing your cooperation or alienating you if they push you too far. The good person is loved like a harmless pet, but they are not respected as an equal power at the table. As long as you choose this passive love over active respect, you will always remain a pawn in your own family's games. Because pawns are loved for their sacrifice, and they never, ever win. So, after all this darkness, what is the solution? Do we abandon our values and become cruel, selfish monsters? Do we become the very people we despise? Number, that is the loser's interpretation. That is the trap of false dichotomy. The solution is not to change your soul, but to change your objective. Your goal should not be to be a vaguely defined good person. Your goal should be to be a sharply defined, effective person. Do you truly understand the difference? The point isn't to be a bad person. The point is to be effective. The point isn't to be dishonest. The point is to be strategic. To understand that not every truth needs to be spoken in every room. Information is a currency, and you've been giving it away for free. The point isn't to stop helping people. The point is to gain the power to choose who you help, when you help, and on what terms, rather than being a default resource for everyone to drain. The effective person sees kindness not as an obligation, but as a choice. Their kindness is not a weakness to be exploited. It is a powerful tool to be wielded with intention. They have switched from being a thermometer, merely reflecting the temperature of the room, to being a thermostat, actively setting the temperature themselves. They know the rules of the jungle. They know when to be silent and observant like a sheep, when to be cunning and evasive like a fox, and when to roar like a lion and defend their territory. You are no longer dependent on the approval of others. You are no longer subconsciously begging, "Please like me, please validate me." You have your own goals, your own boundaries, and your own rules. This isn't selfishness. This is strategic self-preservation. It is the definition of self-respect. It's the moment you decide that your own life, your own ambitions, and your own sanity are not negotiable. Today, we have decoded one of the most pervasive and destructive lies ever told. The hypnosis of being the good person. You now know the truth. This knowledge is dangerous. It's dangerous to the systems that rely on your compliance. And it's irreversible, because once you are truly awake, you can never go back to pretending you are asleep. It is time to shed that sheepskin you've been wearing. It's not a mantle of virtue, it's a straitjacket. It is time to stop being prey and start studying the tactics of the hunter. It is time to stop being a pawn and start acting like a player. Machiavelli's dark wisdom is not a path to evil. It's a map of reality. It's a toolkit for survival in a world that does not care about your good intentions. What matters is your impact. What matters are your results. Now it is your turn. The awakened must find each other. I want you to make a declaration in the comments below. A password that only those who have truly understood the message will write. That password is, "I have shed the sheepskin." If you are ready to continue this journey, to keep decoding the systems of power that control our lives, then subscribe to Coded Thoughts and activate the notification bell. We are not here to tell you lies that make you feel good. We are here to tell you the truths that will set you free. Until we shatter another illusion in the next video, remember this: the world will not change its rules for you. So, you must learn to play the game by the rules that actually exist.